Hola familia, soy Sasha Calle, aka Supergirl, and this is Guaki the dinosaur for now. You are watching Mitú on Movies, reviewing The Flash, coming out finally June 16th in theaters only.
Bye, Sasha.
Bye, Sasha.
Bye, Sasha.
Thank you for coming. Sweetheart.
Did
you want to join the couch? No, you got more important things to do.
What, dinner tonight? I'm busy. I'm sorry.
Is this episode 4?
Aren't you married?
Is this 4?
It's on a date. It's on a date. I'm just saying we were gonna have dinner together.
Okay.
Just you two.
No. Liam's coming too.
Huh? I was coming?
Liam's coming too.
Then that's fine.
Actually, she invited me, Liam, Ryan, and the whole crew.
Guys, fun fact, she was giving me eyes. So first of all,
when she walked out, I will say that me, Jasmine, and Jean like almost fainted because she came out of that room ready to go to like some other event.
Yeah. She was going to a
and I was
CAA
like,
event.
she's gorgeous. She's like, super powerful looking when she comes in anyway. She's tall and imposing, but when she left like a supermodel, like on the runway, and I was like, what?
She's a superstar. She's about to blow up after this movie.
I know.
It's exciting that we're doing this movie because actually there's a lot of Latino undertones to it.
A lot of talent. Latino talent.
Yeah, and including, I just have to say, like, because we're talking about Sasha Calle, one of the most energy-wise, just some of the dopest energy I've been around.
Needed it.
Yeah, very confident, very smart.
I wish she was here every day. I wish she was part of the Me Too. I mean, you are part of the Me Too family, Sasha. Once you come through these doors, you're officially a part of the Me Too family.
We give her a key.
Forever.
Yeah.
She did love Ricardo.
She
She's
took
guacky.
She took a Guacardo, yeah.
Guacky.
But I mean, for this being like her first big movie, she's carrying herself like a movie star.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, she really is.
she's got the stuff in the movie that makes you go, she can do it on camera. She does it off camera.
Yeah.
She's also got something to say, which, I don't know, can we cross over to say that she's going to be a guest on Girl Let Me Tell You as well?
We can. Actually, Girl Let Me Tell You premiered earlier this week, so if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, hear Sasha Calle talk about
link in bio.
Head over to our YouTube, Girl Let Me Tell You.
Yes, we're cross podcasting, baby.
Synergy.
Yeah. All right, so Flash.
The Flash, yeah. Okay, so you Latino.
Tell us the Flash.
Latino undertones.
Yes.
Latino talent.
Yes.
Because the director Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
Argentinian. So. Latinos
Produced
on camera. Latinos off camera.
His wife produces. She's also Argentinian. No, his sister.
Sister
Produces. Yeah.
That's
and Sasha Calle is Supergirl. Look at this thick, beautiful Latino woman.
So we were talking about the toy is pretty.
Yeah, the toy is pretty thick. And she pointed it out
Listen,
too.
Yeah.
You guys are making a lot
Was there a lot of butts in this movie? Like, it felt like the camera like lingered on a lot of butts,
because whenever Barry like gets ready to do his thing, like from the front it goes from the feet up, and then from the back it goes from the feet up. It's just like Barry Allen ass.
Yeah.
Well, he had like
We also got
he
a
had
lot
a
of
naked
baby
butt
butts.
scene.
Oh, I forgot he had a naked butt scene.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say there's something so funny about like a movie could be great or trash or a series. Like I just saw The Idol, got the standing ovation, but the like headline was standing ovation for Lily Rose Depp's masturbation scene. Incredible, top tier, one of the best masturbation scenes you will see today.
That's what we gotta do. We gotta do a Me Too movies masturbation scene ranking. Ready? Go. Number 1.
I can do this. I can do this. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it.
Fair. That's
Pretty
a great
good.
one.
Pretty good. Back to The Flash, where there's no masturbation scene.
There is
First
no
off, this movie rocks.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way.
Oh
This
my
movie
God.
slaps ass.
Like,
Love this movie.
100%. I know that there's a lot of hype and people are talking about it, like that this could be the reset for DC that everyone needs. I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it 100% is.
I think 100%. Like, look, I might say something really bold.
Say it on the
Please
pod.
enlighten us.
I feel like this movie is the DC movie that both Snyder fans are going to be like, yes, and non-Snyder fans are going to be like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of has something for everyone.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll give a hot take too that I saw Guardians and this in the same week, and I was all ready to super love Guardians and be like, on Flash. And it was the exact opposite.
Yep.
I was really down for Flash, and I was kind of disappointed in Guardians.
We talked about this. I huge James Gunn fan. I loved Guardians. I love them both equally. We talked about this, though. What's different, I feel like, is you said that Flash is punching above its weight class.
Yeah.
Guardians,
Yeah.
you're already expecting it to be great.
True.
Yeah.
Flash, you're just like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
even if you have expectations, you're just like, I did not think it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
What were moments? What like big picture? We're not in the spoiler section yet, but what were
You're
like?
safe for
What
now.
were the big? Not even moments, but just like what wowed you?
Well,
I think that,
one for me is Ezra. I think
Yeah, they are fantastic.
like their performance and what they're doing, playing multiple characters and
Yeah.
having
Multiple
each of those
versions
characters.
Barry Allen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think like the comp for me to this movie is Back to the Future. And like that fun, that adventure, like there's so much of it. I know.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Like it's funny. It feels like it doesn't take itself too seriously, which Snyder does.
Yeah, but then the parts that are very serious
Work.
Like,
Yeah.
and the emotional stuff, like the heartstring stuff. Dude,
I'm
I
getting
cried
hit.
like 3 times in this movie.
I know.
I
Same.
laughed like 20 times.
I will say I really liked feeling like I was almost on an attraction ride for the Flash throughout this movie. Like, you know, like one of those good movies that, or one of those good rides that give you a little story, a little like just fun and like, you know, feels like you're on a ride. I felt like I was in an experience in the theater. I definitely think that this is a movie to see in the theater.
Definitely a theater movie.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I was enjoying my time with Ezra Miller for the first big chunk of the movie. I didn't really like the younger version, you know. I don't know. That's not a
Right.
spoiler, right? That's in
No, yeah, that's in the
okay.
trailers. Yeah.
And but man, as soon as Michael Keaton joined
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie, I was like,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing went supercharged for me, and I was like,
Well, that's the thing.
"Holy
It's
moly."
like, I mean, not only Michael Keaton, obviously, as soon as Sasha shows up too,
Yeah.
as Supergirl, so good. But like, it acts as like almost like a DC movie. You know, it's kind of like not to this much of an extent, but Captain America or Civil War. People forget it's not an
Trash.
Avenger movie.
Trash
It's a Captain America
movie.
movie. Wow. We'll talk about that at another time.
I didn't like
but
it either.
It's not
It's a stupid storyline. It
Wow.
was fake. It was done poorly.
Anyways, it's
It was like,
people-
we need a movie to justify why they're splitting up, and we're just going to use this stupid storyline that doesn't really hold water with the way that we've done the movie series up to now. But
Marvel is really getting.
I'm kind of with Alicia on this one.
in
I did
this
not like
podcast.
Civil War.
it's the longest troll of a movie to get us to the next step.
What I'm getting to is that like this kind of felt like that, where it's like it's a Flash movie, but there's a lot of other like DC, like it builds stuff for the DC universe.
Yes.
Um,
And it's still a
yeah.
good origin story.
yeah,
Because
it's
I don't
still
know.
a good standalone Flash movie.
I
Yeah.
need to know what you guys thought it built for this. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Here we
This
go.
movie's a little slow for me. It feels like a filler episode with a little bit of retcon to be able to tell more stories. Like, I see what you guys are saying in terms of it
Okay,
kind of sets up.
I'm gonna come for you though there, because like what you just said, a filler story to retcon things, but that's what Flashpoint in the comics was. Everyone remembers Flashpoint as like, oh wow, what a cool thing they did, but literally DC Comics only did it because they were like, our continuity is fucked.
Yeah.
And we need to find a way to reset everything. Hey, what if the Flash goes back in time and blah blah blah? So like you just compared it to the comic basically.
Yeah.
I would say this. I like a lot of things about this movie. I love the Ezra Miller young old dynamic. I think there's something about that that's very. I think I was telling you guys about this.
It's like a
Very Tobey
sibling
Maguire
relationship.
Spider-Man to me. Like it gives me a lot more of a reality based performance for this character. I love that we feel like we're in the world. It's something that I think Tim Burton does really well with his forays into superhero world. So this definitely feels like this feels like a comic book movie, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
That being said, the first hour is very slow. We are just with Ezra for a decent amount of it. I have problems with some of the plot holes when it comes to him and his mom storyline, which that's no spoiler. That's the storyline.
We'll get to that because I don't know if it's a plot hole.
But I think
we've been arguing about this for weeks.
I
now.
know.
it's kind of to me like Doctor Strange as multiverse of madness, where like, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to say about that
Yeah,
is
same.
this is kind of that movie formula in that we are in one world and then we get transported to another world and we see the stakes of that world. And there's something about, I don't know what's happening.
Well, I had a similar thought because when I was jotting notes down last night, I was like, wait, is there is there an antagonist? Because I don't think Zod is necessarily
No.
his antagonist. You know,
There is. I mean, we'll get to spoilers. There is an antagonist.
Well, I know, but you know, even
Yeah,
in
but, yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no clear push
Yeah.
on that side, and I thought that was kind of a strange form, and maybe that's why I liked it because it kind of felt a little fresh.
Yeah.
It did.
you know,
It did.
And I think that there's a lot of things that maybe your issues with the movie is like, I don't know. You know what other Flashpoint story arcs are.
TeamBerlanti.
When it comes
But I
to
love this. I do like
Flash
this
knowledge
movie.
or like comic knowledge in general, I feel like it goes least, second most.
I love the Flash. Flash is
probably
actually
know
my
what I mean.
favorite character.
Okay.
I do say, like, you know, candidly, like I grew up on the animated series of Justice League. I
Yeah.
grew up on. I really did. I'm a true Berlanti girl. I really think that he did something iconic. Him and the writers and the cast and crew did something iconic.
Those first 4 seasons, probably some of the best network television ever.
2
They-
seasons. 2 seasons.
Arguable.
Guys, it just recently ended, and we're going to give them their entire flowers. I think that they created a whole blueprint for how the movie structure should work. I don't think that you can even have Marvel's multiverse without having
I'll give you that.
Berlanti.
Yeah.
He really did set the tone
Yeah.
for how you can do it, and not being afraid and being ambitious and and truthfully always having a heart with each one of his characters. And Green Arrow and the Flash being. This is not the Berlanti show. I'm not going to go into, but I will say I do have
Happily.
a very beautiful, in my honest opinion, way of how they handle the whole Flashpoint storyline. There's only so much you can do in a movie, but I do feel like it's stripped down so much in this film.
See, I prefer the Flashpoint storyline in the movie than I do I prefer it in the comics most of all, because in the comics, it shows how it affects, look, just
give me a primer. Give me a primer.
Super nerd thing for you right now. In the comics, because it's comics and you can do so much more.
Yeah.
When he goes back in time to save his mom, it affects everything
Everything.
to the point of like Atlantis is at war with Wonder Woman's land, Themyscira. There's like a
Cool.
huge constant war between them. My favorite, the coolest thing that I kind of wish they did in the movie with Michael Keaton's Batman, is that in the comics, Bruce dies. Bruce is killed as a kid. His dad becomes Batman, and his mom becomes the Joker because she goes insane.
That's
with grief.
so rad.
That's so fucking rad. I wish Michael Keaton was Thomas
That's
Wayne.
the
and
Tim
not
Burton
Bruce Wayne.
version. That is
I really thought they were gonna do that. I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna like do a little spinball and be like, oh, it's actually Thomas
Should
Wayne.
we haven't covered the plot yet.
Yeah,
Should
let's
we
go
Not
through the
yet.
plot.
Yeah.
Should we try to do the
In a
game,
flash.
the
Let's
gamified
guys,
that we do?
tell-
Flash in a Flash?
Yeah,
60
tell
seconds?
us the
Who
Flash
wants-
in a
I don't want to
Flash.
do it. Who wants
I don't
to
want to do it.
I can start.
60
Wait,
seconds.
We gotta do it in 60 seconds.
5. You timing? Chekhov?
I got the
Chekhov, the
time,
producer,
I got the
timing.
time.
5, 4, 3, 2, go.
The Flash is about a boy who misses his mommy and doesn't have his daddy. And,
Stop. That's enough. Cut her off. There it is.
and so
right,
he
Liam's
works
gonna do it.
So he works with his powers to figure out how to save his daddy, even though there's a glaring issue about his mommy.
Oh my
who-
God.
No, he figures out how to save his mommy.
What are you?
No, he doesn't.
That's the
Oh,
whole
yes, he
point.
does.
She's
Sorry, my
alive.
bad, my
That's
bad,
the
my bad,
whole
my
point.
bad.
Okay, all right. Lisa is banned from doing 60
hold on.
seconds.
I did
Flash.
F it up. I did F it
You
up. Wait,
did
I want to do
what?
it again. I want to do it again.
You
Ready?
Berlanti'd it.
Okay.
You know what?
I apologize.
In the spirit of
No, because that started off well.
Thank you.
Oh, in the spirit of the Flash being about, going back and second chances, we're gonna give Alicia a second chance,
Thank
a
you.
redo.
Thank you.
Yeah, go back in time.
Go back in
Okay.
time.
Barry
All right.
Allen is a superhero who works as the Justice League. He's overworked, and he is dealing with the fact that his dad is currently in prison for a murder that he did not commit of his mother. He needs to save the day, essentially, and his way of saving the day means going back into the past to change things, because we know that always works out for the superhero in the end.
Doesn't work out.
It doesn't.
Open the
Our
floodgates. We're spoiling. I am pumped. I'm excited.
Lisa, you got a little
my God.
thread in your hair. This side.
On the
This
other
side.
I want to talk about first off. I want to talk about all the DC cameos. Look, like I said, this
Come
is a
on.
DC movie, and I came prepared. I'm wearing my Peacemaker shirt. I'm wearing my Flash
Fuck yeah.
Flash socks. I'm wearing my Batman.
Careful.
underwear.
Easy.
But are you wearing your Nicolas Cage cape?
I'm not
Doesn't
wearing my
exist.
Nicolas Cage Superman cape. You know what? I'm just gonna start with that.
That was the best one.
That was the best one. I love that. I was on Instagram earlier this week, and there was confirmed cameos and like who we think might show up, and they were talking about like Nick Cage might show up in the Flash movie, and there was a comment. Someone was like, "I can't wait to see Nick Cage fight a giant spider," and then somebody else commented. You're an idiot if you think they're ever going to put that in this movie. And it took everything in me not to break the NDA we signed with Warner Brothers and be like, you fool, it is in the movie.
Yeah.
You fool. It's so good. Yes, Nick Cage, that's so good. I mean, we're kind of
Can we get like?
we're kind of jumping the gun
Yeah.
there because all of the big crazy cameos happen at the end.
Let's finish the plot
Let's
because
talk-
now
yeah,
we're in
let's talk-
spoilers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's start with the
So
beginning.
let's start with the beginning. So the beginning
He works in
essentially
Justice
has,
League.
and let's like really talk the beginning because that
I love the beginning.
I know.
great.
I
so great.
love the
No,
beginning.
and that's so go for it.
As soon as that movie starts, and because I've been in like I'm sick of Marvel right now, and the Snyderverse, I've put me to bed. Especially that magnum opus that was the 4-hour whatever Snogfest. I was like, once we started, the pacing, the way it was shot, everything. I was like, we're in good hands. We're in good hands.
I felt comfortable too.
I felt comfortable
right away.
Especially just in that cafe, like the cafe scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I like the
it's
cafe
funny.
scene.
Love the
It's
cafe
it's
scene.
setting like stakes for who he is as a character now. And then when we do the title scene, I'm like, classic.
It's
dude.
very
This
back
is
to
Flash.
basics filmmaking.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
also
yeah.
fits the tone of the character.
Yeah, Muschietti, props to Muschietti, but also the writer,
Agreed.
Christina Hodson. I feel like the structure of this movie is just like so, it's very Top Gun Maverick in the sense that it's like, it's just very basic, but it's not a bad thing.
Why does nobody talk to the Flash, aka Ezra Miller's character Barry, about his father being in jail, about to go to jail for the rest of his life?
What do you mean?
Iris does.
Yeah.
Iris does because Iris is trying to get a scoop. Nobody at the precinct. He's getting in trouble. There are little things that I love about this.
That's
Do they
because
all just
you're-
assume that the dad did it? Like
Yeah,
everybody.
I think that's the thing.
He
Your-
literally
your
works
question-
at a precinct where he is a whole freaking forensic analyst,
Yeah.
and his whole thing is that he's getting in trouble all the time for being late. Which, yes, this is a very Alan thing. This is a very great little
Love that,
comic book
yeah.
nod. I really enjoy this piece. Right, the Flash.
That's
is
a,
not
that's a tough
Flash.
one to talk about around the water cooler. Like, hey, by the way, your dad's on trial for murder.
I think
Do
the
you want to
question-
talk
the
about
question
it?
actually
really-
did it.
the
I mean, he
question
was
you-
holding the knife.
Yeah, he was holding the knife. He
holding the
looks
knife.
The
guilty.
question you really just asked is,
You gotta admit, it
how
looks
come
bad.
Barry Allen doesn't have anyone in his life that cares about it? That's because he's a weirdo. Like
Yeah.
that's like his whole thing.
That's
He's
the
like,
Peter Parker thing about
yeah,
him, too.
we see that he's like kind of reserved,
That's-
kind of a weirdo, little out there. Probably because of the trauma of his dad being accused of killing his mom,
Yeah.
from a young age. So like he's definitely out there, and we see that he has no real friends,
And he has no
except
time.
the Justice League.
And he has no time to
And he
do
has-
that.
Yeah.
I find his personal arc with anybody outside of himself to be severely lacking sometimes.
Which is a flaw of the
Yeah.
You said outside
character.
of himself, and I was like, "Oh, you mean his internal?" And then I realized, "Oh no, he does actually talk to himself."
Yeah.
Which is
his
beautiful.
younger version of
All right.
himself.
And I have to, okay, so essentially, you get into the fact that he has this dilemma. His dad is about to go to jail. They have this camera footage that they cannot see him
Right.
in his alibi. And his whole thing is if he can put a can of tomato soup in his mom's cart, then his dad will never go back to the store to get the can of tomato soup, and then she will live.
Okay, you know what? Okay, the plot holes. That I wouldn't call it a plot hole, but that is something that was weird to me. Is that like when he's talking to Iris and when he's figuring out this plan in his head, this is how he saved my mom. He says like, I think the person who killed my mom only killed her because he thought no one was in the house. But if you could see, my dad was in that. So it was like, that was weird to me, where it was like
It's a big jump.
It's so many big
Yeah.
jumps for
Yeah.
him. He's
My
like,
favorite
all I
is
need
that-
to do is keep my dad in the house, and then this murderer will see my big scary daddy and be
Yeah.
like, I'm not going in that house.
Because women
Well,
can't
no,
take care of
but-
themselves.
But the whole oh yeah, actually that is a plot hole for me that they don't really actually, because it's funny to me. The first thing I thought in this movie, and granted, I will say that being a Berlanti fan has biased me in the way that we know this storyline very well, Barry Allen and his
We know that
and it's-
storyline, of
I know
course. Yeah.
that storyline very well. I think it's a very personal one. I think it creates a very nice storyline for his arch nemesis story. There's a great, so I do have to separate myself here. But there was a big part of me just asking the question, why doesn't he just go back and switch the camera so that we see his dad from the very beginning?
yeah. Yeah.
If the
not
whole
wrong.
idea is that Batman has told him, Batman, which by the way, God, Ben Affleck, hi.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Okay, so there was an interview where Ben Affleck came out and was like,
Oh, yeah.
I think I was like, unfortunately, this is like one of the last times, but I think I finally nailed the Bruce Wayne character in the Flash.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a bold thing for you to say. He did.
He did.
Okay.
He
I wanna
crushed
talk-
it.
oh, yeah.
My question about Ben Affleck, I don't think he was
Yo
in the
soy
movie.
Ben
He
Affleck.
wasn't in the movie that much, so I didn't really have much of an opinion other than when he was in the suit that he was in the Pursuit, first off, it was like a Frank Miller
The
suit.
blue suit. Oh, yeah.
But also, I swear, and somebody proved me wrong, he was wearing chin prosthetics to look like Frank Miller Batman. Like
the square.
it was so square. It was somebody took a protractor to that
I don't
thing.
know.
I'm
I
sure
think
there's
J-Lo's
something-
got him on keto right now. And
No, but even like in the cowl, it looked like he was like overflowing out of
Yeah.
it with just like bigness.
And
Batman
hotness.
bigness.
There's even
He
more
executed
Latino
so well in
influence.
behind the scenes.
J-Lo.
Behind the scenes.
Behind every
Behind every
man in
cowl
a cave is
There's a
J-Lo.
strong Latina singer icon.
Period. No,
yeah,
but
no.
And I want to just quickly, because we were talking about cameos, I just like, come on, we got Gal
In
Gadot.
the first like 20 minutes, Batman. Wonder Woman.
Wonder
I was talking about butts earlier. There was a pretty gratuitous Wonder Woman butt shot as well.
There
I'm
was.
just saying.
I didn't remember.
Yes.
I remember thinking that was weird because I knew Gal Gadot had like.
Because it was too long. It's like,
Yeah.
I know when the
Yeah.
camera lingers.
I
You know,
remember Gal Gadot
I
had an
operate these
issue
cameras.
with sexualization in the Snyder in Justice League. So I was like, this is kind of weird that it's
Yeah.
like so prominent.
I
But-
love the
but
chemistry
again,
though between her and Batman, and I
Oh,
love
man.
I love the lasso of truth moment. Those are the little comic
yeah.
book moments I live
What
for.
is it? I'll never. My ego's way too big for me to say thank you to someone. Also, Barry Allen confirmed virgin.
Yeah. Which,
Wild.
that version of Barry Allen, this is something that like with the big multiverse breaking everything, I'm like, I didn't like originally Ezra's Flash. Because I'm like, this guy's annoying.
Like from Justice League.
Yeah,
or
from
in this
Justice
movie?
League. He's
Oh,
like
same.
annoying. He's like just such a klutz. He runs like an idiot. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't stand this character. And then throughout this movie and then seeing another version of the Flash, I'm like, this is just that Barry Allen. This is just this nerdy kid
Yeah.
who isn't meant to be a cool superhero.
We do
Well,
get
let's
an
talk
older. I will say, like coming into this, because you're actually hitting something. We do have a primer to Barry Allen before, so we do
Yeah.
we have seen Barry Allen before. We are seeing, I think, an older Barry Allen, a little bit more insular to himself. It's almost actually a little different than the Barry Allen that we've seen before.
Inside of
Yeah.
movies. Yeah, for sure.
with some experience.
I think that there is a Peter Parkerification of this Barry
Yes.
Allen.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean,
Tobey
like,
Maguire edition.
literally, see, I was gonna say Tom Holland did it. I mean, I think I can see what you're saying with the Toby stuff, but specifically in the scene that I'm thinking in this first 20 minutes, like he talks about how like, oh, like how come I'm always cleaning up the Justice League's mess, and where's Aquaman? Why can't he do something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's Superman? And it's just kind of like,
lamenting.
I think that's an exact line from it's
Yes.
Far From Home, the second
Yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
where he's like, where's Thor?
It
Where's
is
Captain
similar.
America?
It is similar.
Yeah. Which I think maybe they did to make him more likable as a character.
Yeah.
Well, you got to show him. This is where I feel like there's a bifurcation, a little bit of like all the different storylines. So you got one storyline is he's trying to save his dad.
Right.
You got one storyline that is he is literally overworked at the Justice League.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot
He's
of
just the janitor for pretty much all of them.
Then there's the other storyline of which is more of his character, which is that, you know, he's late for his job. He pretty much is going to get fired. He's got a little bit of a storyline with Iris West, which I can't wait to talk about.
Very little.
Very little and
Very
not hot enough for me. And
Iris West isn't hot enough?
Yeah.
no,
Barry Allen isn't hot enough?
the
Or their
chemistry of the two of
Gotcha.
them is not hot enough for me. But, you know,
Yeah.
I will say this. To your point about having a different Barry Allen, I do think that the love story is going to look a little different. But it is just so interesting to me. They kind of remind me, it's so funny. Does anybody watch Love is Blind here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they kind of remind me of Bliss and Zach from the recent season of Love is Blind.
Yes. Oh my God.
And it's just, you know, it is one of those things
We're
where,
just like, this doesn't work.
I know.
but they make it
But
work.
they make it work,
I
but
know.
it shouldn't work.
And it's aggravating where I'm like, man, come on, shoot your shot, step up.
Yeah.
And this Barry Allen just kind of doesn't have it
Okay,
yet.
but Iris
Just
West
like
is also
Zach
hitting
doesn't
him
really
right
have
out
it.
the gate with, hey, do you have, hey, Barry, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time, but also tell me more things about your dad.
Fake.
It's
Fake,
not, it
which was
doesn't
fake.
start in
But it's also because she's got motives that she's paying the
But
bills.
I feel like
and then he leaves her like mid-step in like the apartment. Like the love story that they tried to craft there is not really
It's
a
not,
love
yeah,
story.
but I don't think they have enough in the movie to do that. Like,
yeah,
And
I
I
think
think-
that, I think
Don't
that,
need
I
to.
think I will say one of my flaws with the movie is that they try to do a lot.
Yes.
And we all know like behind the scenes there was like 5 different directors in and out of this thing.
Yeah.
This thing. And then once they
They
found,
had too
once
much time to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Once they found Andy Muschietti, it got delayed like 18 million times.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of behind the scenes drama. So you know,
And I'll give it that.
for all of that, I think what we ended up with is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do like. There are some things we could cut, and I think Iris honestly is one of them. Not because Iris West, the actress is fantastic.
She's great.
The character
The
in
writing
general
of
is
it
great.
just wasn't.
Yeah, I wish.
And it's
wasn't
fine.
If you're gonna do Iris, give her justice.
Because
you know?
like really like
Justice
truly,
League.
and I was telling the guys this off screen, Barry Allen and Iris West to me are one of the strongest relationships
In comic history,
In
yeah,
comic
for
history,
sure,
like
for sure.
that is a do or die bitch right there. That
Yeah.
is a do or die husband for her. And again, one of the things that I get. It's hard for me, but I'm gonna have to do it because here's the deal. I know that I have Berlanti people out here who are gonna make these comparisons, and like as they should. The series is literally just ending, and there was a long time where we thought that we were gonna get somebody from the CW to be a part of the movie franchise in some way.
that's why you're salty.
I am a little salty about that. Grant Gustin should have been in here.
honestly, yeah, it's.
If you're
it's
gonna do
tough.
that last part
Yeah.
of the sequence where we're seeing,
I thought
Everybody,
for sure
yeah.
they were like that was a little weird to me that they didn't do.
Yeah, that seemed like a
especially
slam
because
dunk.
in the CW show, Ezra Miller shows up.
yes,
There's like a quick.
weird.
There's a multiverse scene with them.
the TV series, literally, they have done so much to, I think,
so
to
funny.
help the DC universe in the
Yeah.
film side.
Yeah.
And the superhero franchise in general. You guys already heard me say that earlier, but it's it's a thing where I'm like, give Berlanti his freaking flowers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nope.
Okay,
I guess
so
they're
anyway-
not.
Before we move
That's
on from
pretty
the beginning
rough.
of the film, that baby scene.
We have to talk about it because
The baby scene.
the morning after you hit me up, Alicia, and you said, "Oh my gosh, we have to give Warner Brothers like our quick take after the screen is our obligation
Yes.
for getting our screening tickets."
Thank
and
you.
I immediately thought of that scene and I said that was the most comic book scene
Yeah.
I've ever seen
Yeah.
on
That was
the
amazing.
screen.
Wild.
And I was like, I could see the 9 panels.
Yeah.
In that, like, the
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah,
different
yeah,
babies,
yeah.
the microwave,
Yeah.
and
So just to
I-
give context, as a part of the overworked, the Flash is tasked with. There is is it a villain on the loose?
No,
or is
no, no.
this
It's
an
like
occasion?
it's a villain in the sense like it's like a small time robber.
Yeah.
But he fucks up the bank job so much that like the nearby hospital for some reason.
It's having a
something
seismic.
explodes. Yeah, seismic activity below the hospital, something like that.
So all of a sudden, you just see this nurse, oh, poor nurse, and I love her so much. But you see this nurse who is in a room with a whole bunch of newborn
Okay.
babies.
Baby
you.
So
Yeah.
good, and it's such a good device.
Yeah.
Where you're like, there's 8 bombs, and like they slowly plan it out where it
It was
breaks, and now
so
all the
good.
babies are.
Babies are just flying
Rated
in
from
the air.
sky. Oh man.
And that's what I love about him as a character is it's like with time it doesn't matter to him. So he's like, okay,
yeah,
here
even
we
with
go.
those stakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
also,
a baby
I also
steak.
love the like on top of like not only does he have to do all this, but like the idea that his tank is low, that he needs to eat.
Oh, I
to keep,
love.
yeah, he has his little
the
watch.
burrito.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious is
burrito
that
in the microwave.
like 2 days after we saw that movie, I was up in San Francisco with my buddy who is about to run a marathon. So he like that morning he ran like 22 miles, and then he was looking at he has a watch. That tells him like your sleep battery is low or something. He was like, "Oh, I probably can't do a big run tomorrow. Like my sleep." And I was like, "That's the Flash. You have the Flash watch." Oh man.
So okay, we've gotten through the first part of the movie. So the movie kind of takes a turn, right? So he's decided I'm going to go back. I'm going to save my mom, and he goes back and he puts the can in the.
Wait, in that scene, is that where he like accidentally went back in time
Yes,
for a second?
that's right. The baby scene is he accidentally goes. Or no,
Yeah.
it's not the baby scene. Is it?
It's right after, isn't
It's
it?
right
Because he
after,
goes and
yeah.
helps Batman.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he accidentally.
And
goes
this is
back
where
in
we get
time.
to see, which is a very cool, very iconic part of the Flash, is we get to see the Speed Force. So that is another
And
thing that I have
and
clips about. but-
he calls it the chrono ball, like
Yeah.
the thing that he's running in. Yeah, which in the comics, and I think also Berlanti does this too. The cosmic treadmill.
Yes.
Which is such a wild thing. Like it definitely this is their version of the cosmic treadmill where he's able to go back in time. But that I think visually was something so cool. 'Cause,
I loved it.
It's so hard to like with so many multiverse.
Yeah.
We got Spider-Man, we got Spider-Verse, we have Doctor Strange, we have all these Loki multiverse things now. It's so hard to make your multiverse / time travel thing visually distinct. And that
Yes,
was
and
very
original.
cool.
All right, so you're giving me some dirty looks about the Chrono Bowl. walk me through
It's a fucking
Berlanti's.
CGI room where he's in the center of it.
important. But like it's on purpose.
Yeah,
that's what I think
what
is
is
cool.
the cosmic treadmill?
Like,
what does that look like visually?
You know, it's this.
Walk
It's
me through it
literally
visually.
It's literally he's running in place, and there's this globe.
Berlanti
of like
does it where it's kind of like
CGI
his heaven.
people.
It's his own house. There's actually to me a little nod to this in the movie is when I do love this part. So I'm really emotional about Barry Allen. I really do love his storyline because his mom is a lot. It's not just being sad that his mom died. Berlanti does something different, and I promise I'm going to stop with these comparisons soon.
Stop.
But he gives Barry, who truthfully is a beacon of hope and optimism and believes everybody is good kind of vibe. He's angry because his mom has been killed, and who the freak killed his mom? Which does not get stressed in this movie. It's just like it's kind of like Peter Parker's storyline. Here's what's gonna happen. I know this is gonna happen. Maybe this is what's gonna happen because Flashpoint story I don't think is completely finished yet, but maybe
there's
is.
Definitely gonna be a sequel. I feel like
Right, and so this is what they did with Tobey Maguire's character a little bit, which is you get the first movie where it's like, oh, his dad died, and like there's no really reason behind his uncle died. Wow, it's Alicia. No, but his uncle Ben dies, and it's like this great origin story starts. But then the second movie where we find out more about who killed Uncle?
The third movie. Yeah,
Okay.
in the third movie you find out that Sandman was actually the one that it was like connected to
Peter Parker
is
is
the partner
responsible.
of the burglar that killed his
yes.
dad. Yeah.
And so there's something interesting, and I think that's what's going to happen somewhat because I think that there's so much of this story of his mom's. His mom is such a central point of his storyline, and we really scrape the surface in this film. Enough to get a sense of Barry Allen. I think, like I like this movie. It was a cool movie. It was a little too long for me, but I like the movie.
Can I say something about the mom?
Yeah.
I really liked her as an actress.
Very
minimal screen time, but
she
totally got it.
Great.
Thought that she loved her kid. Thought they had a unique relationship, and in the scene at the end, I was bawling.
Did you guys watch?
Did
you guys watch Ryan Reynolds' movie on Netflix that I thought was like a really fun movie about him going back into the
Adam Project?
The Adam Project.
Yeah.
So literally same scene is him in the bar with his mom, remember? And he's talking about like his, her son is being hard on her and things like that. Don't get me wrong, those get my heartstrings all the time. But I was like, I've seen this scene before.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
we all have, but
a couple times.
But Ezra and her do pull it off, and
really pull it off.
I do want to go back to like the vengeance storyline. I've seen this in every comic book movie for the last 10, 15 years. And so it was nice that like he gets to sit down with Batman, who is literally telling him like, dude, you've seen it, I've seen it, I've done this thing 100 times.
I've been doing this for years.
And I'm like, it doesn't pay off. And then he also gives him that line of like, this thing that happened to you made you who you are now. And it's like, you know what? Maybe he's not, and he doesn't listen to him and he doesn't find out about it later in the movie. But I feel like having that scene at least was like enough for me to like, all right, I'm okay with him not chasing down the killer. Him maybe doing the thing that like, all right, if I don't kill him, if I don't do all these things, I can maybe finagle and come up with a bad idea, a bad plan.
I just didn't need vengeance. I needed.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Michael Keaton?
We can. This is actually the best part of the best part of the movie for me is from this point on.
Michael Keaton shows up. So Barry Allen goes back in time, but he fucks up and realizes that there's another Barry Allen here, obviously, and he loses his. How did he lose his powers again?
This is not his timeline.
He transferred in the lightning. He got in front of him, and then
he got hit.
That's right.
How did he lose it? Because like the whole reason they had to recreate the accident is because
he was current Barry didn't have powers, so
he hadn't had his origin story yet. So two things were happening.
By saving his mom, he didn't go work at. Yeah. That's right. So.
That was fun. That was a fun.
Yeah, that was all fun. It was fun. That's also in the Flashpoint comic is Barry Allen has to get his powers back, and Batman helps him, straps him to like that.
It's
so
great.
Like that was very.
And I really liked how Supergirl comes in during that part of.
Well, hold on before we skip ahead.
Yeah.
I heard that somebody else that saw a screener earlier than ours that scene was different than the one that we saw of him getting his powers back. After I guess Supergirl like flies him up into the sky and like lightnings him up there, and that's how he gets his powers back. And then they changed it to the scene that happens in the Batcave. That's like
Well, no, she does.
He
She does
still-
bring him back.
But he doesn't get his powers from
that's
that.
True.
It's not until there's like one more sequence.
Yeah.
So
Well, because he recreates the accident in the lab, but young Barry gets it. How old is he? What's the age difference there? Is it like
I feel like
5
Barry's
years?
like 17, 18.
Yeah, he's like
No,
18.
he's in college. 18.
No, he's in college.
But how old is our Barry?
Oh.
His
Oh, like
modern day
25.
Barry.
25.
Okay, so it's like a 7-year age difference there. And then they're like, well, how are we gonna get our powers back? Oh, there's one person I know that can help me. Batman.
Danny
But
Elfman
guess
theme.
what?
Here's
Yeah.
my issue with fucking Far From Home.
Let
Is
me
that
hear
the
it.
one with the all three
Oh no,
Spider-Man?
that's No Way Home.
No Way Home. They never gave me any of the Danny Elfman score
That's
when
fair.
I get
for the
Sam
Tobey Maguire
Raimi's.
Spider-Man. That's
And then
fair.
they gave us the Danny Elfman score for Tim Burton's
which I love.
Batman.
Yeah.
Key.
Love that.
I do want to talk about Michael Keaton a little bit.
And the Wonder Woman theme that.
Give us it, man. That's fan service. Commit to the bit, and Andy does.
he does.
So
I was saying that this is probably one of the most fun music,
Yeah.
jobs to
1000%.
have gotten in the last couple years.
I told you guys after this felt like I was at Disney's Rock and Roller Coaster. Like
Yeah,
you
it's a
did
great
say that.
soundtrack.
It is a
It's
great-
You
soundtrack.
did say that.
With Michael Keaton, they do find him.
Yeah.
And they do the Ryan Johnson Last Jedi thing.
Yeah.
Where he's got the beard
He got
and
the
he's
beard, and
little-
he's like, I'm done being Batman. Being
I heard
Batman
that
sucks ass.
kitchen was a 100% recreation of the 89
Of the
movie.
89
'Cause
Fire!
there's- Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because there was a whole scene with Vicky Vale and Alfred
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
making
yeah,
the
yeah.
sandwiches
Making
late at
sandwiches.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fire. I do feel like Michael Keaton, they did kind of like prop him up and was like, all right, we got to give him the hits. Hit us with, you want to get crazy? Let's do that.
I thought it was weird that, look, I'm fine with, in this age of all, like, oh, we're bringing back Tobey Maguire, we're bringing back Luke Skywalker. I'm fine with you saying the hot lines, but it was weird that the 2 lines from the 89 movie, they had him say in the exact same spot, in the exact same camera. Like, literally, it's, I'm Batman.
And then
And,
he's like,
you want to get nuts?
Because we're film nerds and we
Let's get
can. Like,
nuts.
come on, how cool is it if you can do that? Like,
In the
I-
same,
it was-
I'm
it
not
was
saying the
weak.
same spot as the 89 movie. That'd be dope. In the same spot in this movie, it's literally like
It's
one
like the
day.
same-
It's like the last day of shooting. They were like,
Oh,
all right,
fuck.
Michael. Today we're doing all the hot lines from the '89 movie. So we're gonna stand you up on this platform. We're gonna do
that was a
one
reshoot day.
Camera.
That-
Yeah,
that
it was
was
a reshoot day.
Yeah, they
They're
got,
like,
they
"Let's
got
get
the
all
screener
lines."
notes, and they're like, "Oh, we want to have more of a callback to the original."
Yeah, it was
I
odd.
have one crime from that scene. One minor crime that we saw the Batmobile, but they couldn't make up one little errand for them to
know.
run.
Yeah, they never,
Like,
got,
give me
they never
one-
went in the
I ran out
Batmobile.
of milk.
I know.
We gotta go
Yeah.
up to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I love
You know,
that
like give me an
Batmobile.
excuse to see that Batmobile movie.
100%.
You know?
So
Not my
back to the
favorite Batmobile.
storyline because there's a problem happening while Barry's trying to get back to his timeline,
Which is?
that Zod is here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
The not protagonist.
Yeah.
or
Here's
the
the
not
thing. I
antagonist.
honestly forgot about Zod. I forgot about him going into the movie because I saw him in the trailers.
Yeah.
And I forgot about him after the movie. Not to say Michael Shannon is like. Not to say his performance was forgettable.
No.
But it's just again, there's so much going on in this movie.
It is kind of like Tom Holland's No Way Home, where you have you have all of these amazing kind of
Yeah,
cameos.
like you remember what's his name?
Goblin.
Green
Goblin,
Goblin. You
which
remember
gets a fantastic-
Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe, fantastic performance. But you forget that like Jamie Foxx is back. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is back. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Zod's
But General Zod's
storyline
back.
doesn't quite land for me, but you know what makes it land for me? Because I do think Green Goblin got an amazing return to form in Peter Parker's storyline. But what worked for me was Supergirl.
Sasha.
And specifically, Sasha just is incredible in this. And she talks a lot in the Girl Let Me Tell You podcast. And she talks about how she didn't know that she was going to be casted for Supergirl when she auditioned for it. She was like, can I use gun as a prop? She was told it's going to be a strong
woman.
assassin type.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Black
Yeah.
Widow type.
And the power that she possesses in the storyline, because the whole thing is Zod is against everything she stands for, and there's this idea that he has she's got this fury with him, and I'm trying to remember what.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that was my favorite thing about her performance was that I feel like I have never seen.
Before she confronts Zod, can we talk about the prison break scene real quick too? Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
skipped over
We
her,
skipped over
her
where she
getting
comes
out.
back.
Yes,
Completely.
yes.
Yeah.
Because I just want only reason is because I had a note that like did anybody else think that maybe Red Sun was happening? Because I mean, other than knowing that Sasha Calle was Supergirl in this thing,
I could have been.
You were totally leading me to a Red Sun situation.
Definitely.
Which is one of the
feel
great
like
books.
because captured by the Russians. Makes sense. I thought maybe they were like hinting at it. Definitely.
There's definitely a future Sasha Calle. If they're
Liam was our resident nerd. Isn't it great? I love that in 2023. You're
I don't know what Red Sun is. Hold on, what is Red Sun?
Comics.
Red Sun is it was like a Divergent timeline
it's their
comic
of
book.
What If, or what is it called? Because it's called What If in Marvel Elseworlds. It's called DC Elseworlds.
Oh, I do know of Elseworlds because Berlanti also did Elseworlds.
But basically, the premise is that Kal-El left like a minute later. And because of the rotation of the Earth, he didn't land in Kansas. He landed in Moscow, and they like raised him as like a proud,
rad.
And when they were like Russia, I was like, oh, are we going to Red Sun time?
Yeah, I know. I thought for sure. And then I think there's also a red light in her cage, and I was like, oh, but but that scene though is dope because like when they're like literally Batman and the two Flashes are captured and what's gonna happen, and then like you just see her like fly into the sky and boom, 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 boom.
She's got
dope.
Killer kick-ass scenes.
But back to the Fury. What I love is that I feel like I've never ever seen on camera. I mean, you don't see a lot of Supergirl in general on camera, but I've never seen someone portray the familial love so much because it's usually kind of like
so freaking wow.
And like honestly, part of me is like that's the Latina in her because like when I see like the what's her name
Kara in Supergirl
the Berlanti one what's the actress's name?
Let's do a Berlanti
Melissa Benoit. When I see her and that Kal-El, it's very white cousins, like, hello, cousin, like, good to see ya. It's been a while since the last family reunion. But, like, this Latina Supergirl is like, that's my fucking primo! And you killed him, Zod! I'll fucking kill you!
And I think that's the thing, though. Zod kills Superman in this.
As a baby, when she finds out that her baby cousin, and that's the other thing, is that it's
baby deaths on the line in this movie.
Muschiettti's a crazy.
And when there's 10 babies that could die in a movie, only one of them does, and it's off camera. Not bad.
And it's Superman.
Man, the love that she had for that,
and the love that
baby.
Like, let's talk team ups too, because I think that's a big part of this. We know that he's Barry as a part of Justice League, but he gets his own little team up here, and we do get the four of them. It's the Barry,
he makes that line where he's like, "We're kind of the Justice League. We got a Batman, we got a super person."
And it's really, I will say, like, this is one of the things that I think the movie shines really well in, is because older Barry Allen is learning a lot about this process, learning a lot through this journey, and learning a lot by seeing his younger Barry be so quick and so quick to do everything, so quick to be so faster than him. And it reminds him a lot of kind of like, I think, the downside of moving so quick and reacting so quickly and not recognizing the greater responsibility that you yield and why you're doing this in the first place. I think that this movie really does a great job of re-endowing Barry to what his mission and his purpose is.
And I think it's really interesting you bring that up, because I think what I love about the mom storyline is that, like, Liam, you also said, like, what this thing that happened to us made us who we are. Like, we get to see that, like, the Barry that grew up with two parents, kind of a shithead. He's not a bad person, but it's like there's this great scene. The great scene where older Barry is mad that young Barry is like, he's not even talking shit about his mom. He's just being like any 18-year-old. It's like, oh, mom, like, such a mom. And older Barry gets so pissed at him, and little Barry doesn't know that Nora has died. So he's like, why are you so mad? And what's the line? Oh, he says, like, you mistreated Monkey, which is their little doll. Yeah. And then young Barry says, it's just a monkey. Mom gives us monkey stuff all the time, right? And older Barry is like, oh God, because he no.
And I really do love,
before she died.
I love that they let Barry know pretty quickly, young Barry know, so Barry overhears older Barry. And what I love about that is I always think it's a kind of a weak device just to keep somebody out of the loop.
To keep a secret, Which, oh my God, Ant-Man Quantumania does a terrible job.
We have a Chekhov challenge right now.
Before we get into Chekhov challenge, let's wrap up on like what the end of this movie and like how not the ratings, we'll get there. But so what happens is, and I'm just gonna, I think, finish the statement, is that Barry is learning a lot about himself. He's trying to tell Barry to pace, little Barry to kind of pace down, and then they find themselves in this war with Zod. And what happens is they are losing this war
every time.
goddamn
No matter
time.
what, Keaton dies and Supergirl dies.
And young Barry is like, let's run it back. Let's change
And young
things. Let's
Barry
go back
is
in
doing
time.
this, and this is where I start to cry because young Barry, the truth of why he's doing this is because he knows what lays for Barry on the other side of this if they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
He wants Barry to have a. I
he
almost feel
wants-
like he wants older Barry to have a mom more than
he
needs.
wants to have the mom. Yeah, he wants him to get what he missed out on. Yeah,
Felt
And
those
that
stakes too.
brotherhood
The
between-
stakes were real.
Yeah.
very real.
And this is where Ezra Miller, freaking all your flowers here, because you were able to convincingly play two characters who love each other
Yeah.
so much. And this speaks to me again of how they love themselves in this film a lot more than I think the other personal relationships had time to even allow to relate.
They spend the most time with each other than with other characters. And then as far as antagonist goes, the reveal is that technically
Yes.
the person that knocked older Barry out of, because that's the thing. I
Speed
think we all
Force.
forgot about that. Older
Yeah.
Barry wasn't supposed to be back with his mom. He was
No.
supposed to come back to the present.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he gets knocked out to around 2000 whatever.
But it's weird 'cause
by young Barry.
But young Barry is the old Barry, right?
Yeah.
Because
Which
he's
there's
still
young
trying
I
Barry,
didn't know it all.
There's middle Barry, and then there's oldest Barry, which is just young Barry, who has been going back
Who
in
is
time
still
so many
trying to-
times
Yeah.
that he is now like a million years old.
It is,
and
it
he's
is interesting
genius.
on any of these multiverse or time travel movies that you have to kind of go down the list of what parts you're gonna, what rules you're going to apply.
Yeah.
Because this one had the elements of fate and inevitability, and
Yeah.
I actually
inevitable
really liked
point.
it when that moment of realization that Barry was like, "Oh, I can't change this."
Yeah.
It was kind of like what happened in the What If
Well, like
comics with
tomato,
Doctor
tomato.
Strange.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm never gonna change my future. I'm never gonna save what's her
So
name."
I just have to accept
but
it. Yeah.
I do though. It's a weird thing. It's like, it's either change this small thing or change this small thing. In a grand scheme of things, you almost think that the tomato can is like a small thing, and you realize it changes a lot of things, and you actually don't really see what it changes in Barry's world. You see what it does in this young Barry's world, which is interesting. But then the change, he still does make a change in the end,
Yeah,
right?
he's able to get his dad.
And
Yeah.
he's able, and it's almost like there's a question
I
for
have
me of
problems with
like,
that.
Yeah.
and that's what I have. I'm like, so the matter was just like, what is the smallest change you could make,
Yeah.
and then that is okay.
Yeah, the size of the change.
Yeah, and granted, like I don't think he picked the biggest change to make in the first place, which I almost think would have made that make a little bit more sense. Like, okay, Barry's trying to save his mom, cannot save his mom.
Yeah.
Barry can save his dad.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the clearest thing that I wish was a little bit more clear, because right now it is still trying to save his dad by aspect of saving his mom as opposed to saving his mom. So there's that being said, it is going to be curious to see like now what changes are invoked from.
Based off that,
yeah.
like I would love to see little changes. Like what's the moving the tomato cans from the bottom shelf to the top shelf? Does that change anything? Because now that I think about it, I keep complaining that like, well, the comics is such a big deal, but like it's kind of a throwaway line. But we learned that by Barry saving his mom, he's created a world with no metahumans. Like he stopped Cyborg from happening. Wonder Woman is. He basically. I think she's still in hiding. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, Wonder Woman she's a god.
Yeah. So the only person he knows of is Batman and Superman.
My guys, we gotta wrap this
All right,
up.
yeah. So let's get into our. This is one of my
we,
favorite.
We have a little
one
more
of-
time. I was just going to ask real quick before we get to the ratings, because I'm watching the time.
Yes.
Ezra Miller. He has a past.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
It
Okay,
seems like
Ez-
DC loves him, and in fact, I think it was just announced that DC's keeping him for
moving forward.
This
with
is
him.
my thing with Ezra Miller.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
They remind me of Kanye West in the sense that Kanye West came out like years ago and was like, "Hey, any of the crazy shit that I've done or said, I have mental illness. I'm working on it." And then I remember it was like a year later, he was like, "I'm off my meds. This is the real me." And like everyone was like, "No, man, like you had it figured out." And now he's just off the fucking deep end. The last thing, like, Ezra Miller, there's accusations of kidnap, and they've assaulted people on the streets, and there's videos of them beating the shit out of fans randomly.
Yep.
But the last thing that Ezra Miller has, like, the end of that streak of craziness was Ezra Miller saying, "Hey, I have discovered I have complex mental illnesses, and I'm taking medicine and I'm working on it." And they haven't done anything since then. So I am like, to me, that is like, okay, like that. Everyone deserves a second chance.
I just hope that they're okay.
Don't fuck it. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't want to speak too much because I think that there's a lot of I think media gets in the conversation and does not care about mental well-being of anybody. And I also think that you got to hold people accountable, but at the same time, this shit is so well taken care of and protected, and you really don't know what's what. And it's like, you know, time will tell. Somebody will write a book about. I was just literally reading, there's a book coming out on Lost and like and how trash environment
like an
Lost
abusive
was.
set,
Yeah. So you know, time will tell what that story is. But my hope is that if they're going to move forward with Ezra, that they have figured out their mental well-being, that the studio is helping them with their mental well-being, because I think that the studio system is really complicit sometimes.
If you're going to profit off of this person, help them when they're going through something.
And so they sound like they've helped. They sound like they've been helping them. And I, you know, like that's really all I can say.
Ezra, he hasn't done any press for this movie. He hasn't.
I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I tried to find him, guys, when I was in Hawaii last, and we went.
They
my brothers
used to
and I
have
went on a
wanted
whole mission
posters of him
to try to find him, and we failed. But we weren't on the right island. First off,
Like, I feel like they hint throughout the movie that young Barry is picking up on his powers way faster.
Yes, they 1000%
I wish they
do.
explained why.
I think
That's
because they have
what
a
he
they have a
Because he has-
mentor. He has a mentor. Somebody
Yeah.
that can like
Okay.
he can be like, how do you run?
That
It's
is
just because
something
he
that-
had a mom. It was
that's
like,
also
oh, if you grow up with a mom, you're better at having superpowers.
I think
my
he's not a
God.
virgin, and I think that's why.
Oh! Virgin!
No, and I
he's
also
got
think
his
that
own
that's
place.
something that
I know.
plays out. I feel like that plays out either in a comic book, or I know that Berlanti's kind of played with it a little bit before. It's like the second time that Barry gets, like in every time there was like a multiverse or another version of Barry, there was
Every
always
new Flash gets,
yeah, it's like an addiction for any Flash,
Yeah.
like speed.
That's true.
And then one final thing, let's do our movie ratings.
Power
starting
rankings, baby.
with Ryan.
Oh, I don't remember how we did it.
Hit
'cause
it.
I haven't
1
done it
through
since-
5. 1, not bored. Or sorry, 1, bored. 2, not bored. 3,
3, entertaining.
4, impressed. 5, not just entertained, but somehow reborn.
Reborn and transformed.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole Kidman.
I'll give it a solid 4.2.
Nice.
4.2. Okay. All right, so impressed and almost reborn.
Yeah.
A little reborn.
I
Yeah.
mean, I had so much fun with it.
Yeah,
I just like really, and I want people to see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm
Yeah,
like,
you use
I
the term
feel like
fresh, and it's like, yeah.
I will admit though that if you don't like Ezra Miller, you're gonna have to get over the hump of the beginning.
Yeah.
because
It's a lot of
that is
Ezra.
very Ezra Miller. But if you stick through, you're gonna see something that you might not have seen before. And I think it was
That's
a
true.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
at the end.
Ton
Dude,
of
and
fun.
Batman, when he comes in, just
my
brings.
God.
It's a different movie at that point.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
it was bad before or anything, or it was
Shakes it
better,
up.
but
Yeah.
it's like it changed.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
it transformed into something else.
Totally. I'm gonna go with a solid. I think a solid just a 4. Like, I was impressed.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'm going 4. I'm going 4.
Can we rate who's the best Back to the Future actor? Is it Eric Stoltz or is it Michael J. Fox?
And with that, we're out.
Yeah.
Guys, see us on another episode of Me Too on Movies. Peace out. Oh, and thank you, Ryan Cowan, for joining us.
Yo,
Hey!
Yeah, Ryan.
All right, peace out.
Flash to the future.